Welcome back as we look live over downtown Austin. You know, it was short and sweet, kind of like Sabrina Carpenter, but La Nina is officially over. Chief Meteorologist Nick Bannin is joining us here to explain what that could mean for our spring rainfall.
I guess La Nina left quite an impression as well.
I knew you were going to do that.
La Nina usually means warmer and drier winters versus El Nino, which typically means wetter and cooler winters for us. But now that we're in spring, the connection may be a little less well known. So as we heard last week from the Climate Prediction Center, La Nina has officially ended. La Nina is the cool phase of ENSO, or the El Nino Southern Oscillation. It's generally determined by the water temperatures in the eastern equatorial Pacific. If those water temperatures are cooler than normal by a certain amount, we're in a La Nina. If they're warmer than normal by a certain amount, we're in El Nino. And if they're close to normal, like they are now, we're in what's called ENSO neutral, which is neither El Nino or La Nina. So the question becomes, well, what does this mean now that we're in ENSO neutral when it comes to the rainfall that we so rely on in spring? Well, this is our spring so far, March 1st through yesterday, the first half of spring, 1.95 inches of rain in Austin at Camp Mabry. What we should have had by now is more than 4 inches of rain. So already we're lacking more than 2 inches of rain here this spring, but we have yet to reach the wettest part of spring on average. So where should we end up by the end of this spring? So what I did, I looked back at all the years of data that we have on when we've had La Nina winters and ENSO neutral springs, and what that typically means as far as being wet or dry for those spring seasons. And what you can see here is all the years and how much rain we've had in those springs where those criteria have been met: a neutral spring, a La Nina winter. And out of the 7 years that I've managed to collect data all the way through 1965, those are the years that qualified for this criteria, 5 out of those 7 years have been drier than normal. So the pattern as a whole does not bode well. An average spring gets 10 1/3 inches of rain, and 5 out of the 7 years that meet this criteria ended up getting less than that. Now on KXAN.com, I wrote a really long blog sort of explaining my work and digging into the data. So you can read about that there if you'd like more information about where I got the numbers, where I got the dates, and how I narrowed it down to build a connection into this spring. But the bottom line was that we're already off to a dry first half of spring, and the data does not suggest that we're going to end up catching up with the rain that we've missed and making for a wetter spring by the time it's done. Of course, there were 2 years where we didn't do that, and we ended up wetter than normal. Let's hope that is what ends up happening this time around. This is how it looks from our downtown Austonian weather camera, a mix of sun and clouds. We're warm today thanks to the returning southeasterly breeze that has pushed us into the 80s. And we're going to keep warming up. 89 tomorrow, 90 on Friday. Temperatures do come down this weekend thanks in large part to some rain and storm chances. Humidity, though, going up. It's already a little bit muggy now, still borderline comfy versus muggy though, but the humidity is going to be well into the muggy category tomorrow, humid as we get into Friday and Saturday, and then the humidity comes down with a cold front here on Sunday. So we talked about the potential for some rain here this weekend. We've got an upper level low spinning just off California. There's actually another piece of this that's going to be coming down and merging them together, helping to develop increasing rain and storm chances as we get into the weekend as a southwesterly flow develops. So what does that mean for tonight? Well, it means we're still dry and partly cloudy. Tomorrow I expect more clouds than sun. There'll still be some sunny breaks, just not as many as today, but it should still be a dry day and a warm day with upper 80s. Then we get into Friday, another day of more clouds than sun, but still some sun. And it's a mostly dry day. We've only got a low 10% rain or storm chance, and that comes likely at the very end of the day, meaning late Friday evening. We could get a few storms trying to clip parts of the hill country, sort of setting the stage for what will be at times a wet weekend. So partly cloudy tonight, a little breezy. We're down to 64, and then your day tomorrow, 89, more clouds than sun, breezy and warm. Then we start talking about those miniature rain chances late Friday night, higher rain chances for the hill country Saturday morning. And then those higher rain chances and storm chances start to spread into the metro and our eastern counties late Saturday night into early Sunday morning. That looks to be the wettest period for us, with the showers and storms pulling away for the second half of the day on Sunday. So this is how it should affect your Easter weekend. Friday, mostly dry. Only 30% rain chances during the day on Saturday, mostly for the hill country. Higher rain chances at 60% overnight, and then the rain chances during the daylight hours of Sunday drop to 40%. There's a low severe weather risk Friday night in parts of Mason and San Saba County. That severe weather risk spreads for just about everyone else from Saturday into early Sunday morning. There's also a low flash flooding threat Saturday into early Sunday morning, and that's when we should get the majority of our rainfall too. Still looking at 1 to 2 inches for most of the hill country through Sunday. Still not super impressive rainfall amounts in the metro, 1/4 inch to 1 inch, with even less than 1/4 inch in our eastern counties. But don't worry, there's more rain chances ahead. Those chances drop to 10% on Monday, but they're all the way up to 40% Tuesday and 50% on Wednesday. So even if you don't get the rain you want here this weekend, there's more opportunities for it next week.